there is a lot of people who have determined that in their life they are going to make a mockery out of the church. And that's not something that we would be able to even foresee, or it's something that you wouldn't even think of even doing. Some people have determined to themselves that they are going to solely make a mockery of the church. And this video, it's just quite an interesting one to see from that particular angle. It's the Reality Show with the daily Christian commentary videos. If it's the first time over here, to be sure to check out the other videos that are down in the pinned comments. Thank you very much for everybody that is watching this video. And thanks to AMT7. That's where I actually got to see this particular video or this story. I wouldn't have seen it if he had not posted it. So I'm going to leave the video down in the description below. So go check him out. The man does a lot of journalism that actually lands before my eyes. I get to actually see some stories because he has posted them. And so absolutely grateful for his work. Now, the particular video that I am talking about is this video right here. Now, in this video, it's quite a sad one to actually have to say that this man is in church, right? Or is in a place that looks like church. And when you actually look at the rest of the video, exactly what is happening here, so you can see there is some type of a church that's running here, okay? The church is in progress and this guy is busy folding his things right in his hand, right there. Who even smokes in church? Who even sits there in church pretending to be there for the service while busy in his own world? Why busy in his own version of whatever he wants to? But if you go back to that idea that I was just saying now, people have determined to make a mockery of the church. People could see him doing this, folding his zol right in church. And they kind of just leave him to it. And they continue on in their world as well. They're like, you know what? We probably not going to tell Mandem anything. Mandem has, hey, you know what? He's been to hell and back. And so he's going to do what pleases him. And it came to me, there is a lot of individuals who have told themselves that they will make a mockery of the church. That's what I see in that story. That's what I see in that scenario. That's what I see in there. Maybe you see something else. For me, I saw a person who had determined to make a mockery of his time in church. You know, church, when people go to church, mostly they don't even take off their hats, you know. It's kind of like how Africans would approach the church. And everybody has that respect, even going into a building or going into a house or someone's visiting someone's house. Someone will take off their cap because it's a sign of respect of someone's house, right? So we'll do something like that. And we do that not because we are afraid of the person inside the house. It's respect to them. It's giving them their... there's one thing that's why I'm saying in this video, this is literally the one thought that came to my mind. Maybe something else comes to you, to your mind when you see this particular picture. But for me, the one thing that came to my mind is people have determined to make a mockery of the church. There are people who have told themselves that they are coming to church, but they're going to have their own way. Now, if you read Timothy, the book of Timothy, the Bible does talk about people in the last days who will see church or who will see their relationship with God as only benefiting themselves. The Bible says disobedient to parents. Self-willing, the Bible uses that type of language. Self-willing. Only up for the pleasures of this earth or pleasures of men or pleasures of self. They can never do anything in benefit to God or in worship to God. You know, the Bible does say that in our deeds we are worshiping God. They cannot just do things in that perspective as only. They have to do it in view of themselves. That's the first thing that stuck out to me when I saw this video. It was that this man was there to make a mockery of the church. And he was doing exactly that. Now, I don't know if maybe he's not well mentally, okay? So I'll get that. Because that would explain why everybody else just kind of left him to himself and kind of didn't bother the guy. Maybe the guy is not okay. For those that know, they can highlight it for us. Whatever church branch this is. I don't know if this is Anglican or Catholicism. If it's Catholicism, I'll kind of get it, because Catholicism does allow their members to kind of like drink and they get involved in all this jazz, right? And so I don't know if they are now doing so even when those people are in church, or this man was just not well. Like, you understand? You understand? That would explain that. But apart from that, I saw nothing else except the mockery of church becoming a thing. The man literally right on there. He is there making sure people know why he is in church. He serves himself. Unless he is. If he's not mentally. If he's not. Because if he is, then I'll understand. But if he's not. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there is we've seen this, this type of thing where people go to a place where a church or so forth, and when they get there, they do something that's completely contrary to what a church would accept. But maybe I'm reading too much into it. But y'all tell me what your thoughts are on this one. But I have seen scenarios like this before. That's why I'm stating it like that. I've seen scenarios like this where people are going to church or going to a place which is church. And the first thing you note about them being there in church is how they are just there in self-will, basically. They are there to make a mockery. You see these stories that come out supposedly claiming to be from church, but they have nothing to do with church. You can kind of like see with everything that's happening around them. That's kind of like the vibe that I saw here. But maybe I'm just reading it wrong. It's Ricky's Reality Show, daily Christian commentary videos. It shouldn't shock us when we see this type of things. What we want to do is to be very clear when we are talking to those that are not in the church, to say, these individuals that you see doing these things, I primarily have nothing to do with the church whatsoever. Don't get it mixed up when you see these things. It's Ricky. I'll see you on a later on episode. Y'all be good. Don't give up always be willing to explain. When you see people like that, or when you see something like that, be aware that there are people that just want to make a mockery of church. Some of them, they were hurt with how the church treated them when they were there, or their parents were church fanatics, and now they harbor this hatred for church or for the church community and so forth. And so you see this type of behavior come out from that. But from me, Ricky, y'all tell me what you think. Maybe I'm not seeing it correctly. Maybe he's not well mentally and so forth. But there is this group we must be aware of, who have determined and who have told themselves they're going to make a mockery of church at all costs.